And I think I lived in a time where it was like, be strong, but not too strong, right? Like be competitive, but don't talk junk. And so now to see the league where it's at, be where it's at because the women have taken the reins and the women have been unapologetic in who they are and what they want to represent. We are, in our league, a majority of the minority in this country. And I think using our voices and obviously bringing game to the court as well, and visibility, it's really exciting for me on the outside to see where women's sports in general is.
Candace Parker recently shared important observations on ESPN's First Take, focusing on the dynamics between veteran and younger WNBA players. She discussed how some retired players might feel resentment toward rising stars and offered her views on the growth and evolution of the league.
Because I applaud you for that.
Well, I appreciate you, and I think in the world where there's eyeballs on you at every moment, it used to be the camera would cut, you would go home, but now it's just consistent with social media and all of that. But I think comparison, you know what I mean? Just being who you are, setting your bar and trying to live to that. And I come from an amazing family at home with two parents that really instilled that mindset in all three of us at home. I have two amazing role models in my brothers, and so
Caitlin Clark has emerged as a standout young player, bringing significant attention and popularity to the WNBA. The discussion, however, also touched on concerns that veteran players might feel undervalued for their past contributions to the league's growth. It raised questions about whether these seasoned athletes feel overlooked despite their efforts in shaping the WNBA and advancing basketball overall. The conversation highlighted the possible frustration some veterans have over the lack of recognition for helping build the league to its current status and guiding its future path.
Being able to have the support system has allowed me to be okay with being authentic. Sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right, but just being true to who you are and what you want to represent. I mean, you have to go home with you, right? Mm-hmm. You can't go home with all your followers or all the fans and things like that. So I had to be okay with the negative. I had to be okay with people not agreeing with my decisions or
Parker spoke about common questions concerning possible resentment toward the current state of the WNBA. She stressed that her responsibility as a professional was to leave the game in a better position than she found it. Reflecting on basketball history, she pointed out that Cheryl Miller probably didn't feel any resentment toward Parker for having a professional league available to play in.
I think the WNBA is so dynamic in its growth right now, and its reach. And I do want to commend, the network of ESPN and ABC for the visibility of the WNBA. I mean, you look at where it started, honestly, you think about, ESPN was the home of the NCAA tournament for years. Mm-hmm. The first time it was on ABC, it shattered record numbers. So really it's just about the visibility, and it's about putting it on television, and it's about knowing the players and establishing the rivalries and being able to have the merchandise. And so I think that it's so exciting for me to see that in the W, and I think that we can still continue to grow.
Instead, Miller continues to mentor and support current players, often sitting courtside to cheer on rising stars like Guji Watkins. Parker shared a similar dedication to backing Caitlin Clark and other WNBA players, stressing the significance of veteran guidance over jealousy or rivalry. She also highlighted the positive role of competition when kept within limits, referencing how fans were drawn to the intensity between Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, where physical play and competitive tension heightened interest.
When we look at the WNBA, whether we've speculated about resentment or whatever it is, ultimately it comes down to the fact that there were an abundance of women in the WNBA doing tremendous work on behalf of the WNBA and the game of basketball. And you just sense that folks were feeling an absence of appreciation for what they had done and what their collective contribution was to bring the WNBA to where it is now and where it evidently is going. Can you speak to...
She emphasized that competition should remain within the confines of the game, rather than spilling over into personal or social contexts. With social media making it easy for everyone to comment on WNBA matters, Parker urged keeping discussions focused on basketball fundamentals instead of outside controversies or personal conflicts. This mindset, she noted, fosters genuine league growth and promotes positive representation. Parker also recognized talented players from past eras while highlighting the greater visibility current athletes enjoy. She drew parallels to NBA legends, pointing out that stars like Dominique Wilkins and Julius Erving didn't resent Michael Jordan's influence on the game's popularity and development.
That collective frustration that some may have been feeling, and whether or not you think it's something that's being overcome as you all thrive and move forward and continue to promote and uplift this league.
You know, it's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful for me that I had a league to play in? No, she's being the mentor that she is, and she's supporting and loving and sitting courtside cheering on Juju Watkins. And
Parker views the current WNBA landscape as a remarkable opportunity. She highlighted the importance of business priorities and operational improvements, specifically advocating for larger roster sizes through collective bargaining negotiations. She noted that current team limits of 11 or 12 players may not fully support player development and growth initiatives. Drawing on historical NBA examples, she observed that reactions to rising stars have varied. While most legends welcome new talent, some, like Wilt Chamberlain, may have felt jealousy over Michael Jordan's success.
I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA. You know, I think that rivalry is super important. I think conversation is super important. You know, I tuned in when Kevin Durant went back and played Russell Westbrook, and they bumped shoulders and everybody was tuned in. But I want to keep it within the lines of the game. And I think that's what's the most important. Now everybody has a Twitter finger. Everybody can have reach to, the WNBA and make comments.
Overall, patterns indicate that veterans generally support the league's growth through emerging stars. Rivalries play an important role in professional sports, but how they are framed is key to their positive effect. The most compelling rivalries highlight player skill and competitive excellence, rather than outside demographic factors. Strong competition between talented athletes drives genuine fan interest and engagement. However, media coverage increasingly focuses on demographic differences instead of basketball fundamentals, creating artificial narratives that distract from true athletic competition and player development. This type of framing may draw in viewers unfamiliar with the game, but ultimately undermines meaningful basketball discussion.
But really the key is let's keep it about basketball. That's my thing. And when we do that, then we're able to really grow the game and what it represents. There are some talented players that have been in this league, but now, because of visibility, listen, I still know the Dominique Wilkins. I still know, all of those players, the Dr. J's and all that stuff. I don't think they're not salty that MJ came along and grew the game. I mean, that's what it is. And so I think that the WNBA as a whole is in an amazing place.
Some media figures and former players show resentment toward current stars, even though these athletes contribute positively to the league's growth and visibility. This mindset goes against both business logic and professional development goals. Veterans, Parker suggested, should take on mentorship roles like Cheryl Miller has with today's players. Negative commentary tends to attract people who aren't genuinely interested in basketball but are drawn to perceived controversies. This behavior weakens authentic fan engagement and fosters a toxic environment around legitimate competition, ultimately harming both league development and player well-being.
Now it's about business to me. It's about taking care of business and making sure. I would like to see, and I'll say this in the CBA, I would like to see more roster spots because we can't have 11 or 12 women on a team. You got to, lean into the player growth and player development.
Absolutely. I love that when you started this off, you were like, oh, I needed something to do in retirement, so I wrote a book, but I listed off like 80 jobs, and now you're talking about the CBA and 3 children, the whole thing. And then you're in Chicago, your hometown, throwing the pitch over the weekend. Do we have that video, Kwaku? There she is. Stephen A. threw out a pitch too.
Did he? I don't think I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
I have seen it. I don't think I've seen
Mine was a little bit more lofty, but I am a Rookie of the Year fan, so I was thinking about throwing the stinky cheese.
You were channeling it.
Yeah, I was trying to channel that.
What happened? What happened there?
What happened was,
Candace Parker recently shared insights on the WNBA's growth, veteran mentorship, and emerging talent like Caitlin Clark. She emphasized that competition should stay within the game, with veterans supporting younger players rather than expressing resentment over changing circumstances. Parker highlighted how star players drive fan engagement, ticket sales, and league revenue, noting Clark's unprecedented impact, while stressing the importance of broader storylines, player development, and healthy rivalries. She drew parallels to past NBA and WNBA legends who embraced new talent, underscoring mentorship, professional conduct, and strategic league growth as keys to sustaining positive momentum amid media controversies, social media scrutiny, and evolving fan dynamics.